The glass of water sitting next to you right now could actually be doing more for your skin than you think. Not because water itself is magic, but because of a few simple things you can add to it that may give your body some of the raw materials it needs to support its own collagen production. And that matters more after 60 than almost any other time in your life. If you've noticed your skin feels a little thinner than it used to, or a little less bouncy when you press it, or if fine lines seem to be settling in more than they used to, you're not imagining it. Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 things you can genuinely add to your water or your daily drinks that may help support your skin from the inside. I'll also explain honestly and clearly what these can realistically do and what they can't, because I'd rather you trust me with the truth than impress you with a promise I can't keep. I'm Dr. Robert Vance, and before we get into the list, I want to say something plainly. Nothing in this video is going to erase your wrinkles or turn back the clock. That's simply not how skin works, and anyone who tells you otherwise is not being honest with you. What I can tell you is that your body is still capable of producing collagen, the protein that gives skin its structure, well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. It slows down with age, yes, but it doesn't stop. And what you put into your body still matters for that process. That's really what today is about. Let me explain what I mean by collagen in plain terms, because understanding this will make everything else in this video make sense. Collagen is a protein, and it's actually the single most abundant protein in your entire body. Underneath your skin, it works like a support structure, something like the framework inside a mattress that gives it shape and keeps it from sagging. When that framework is well supported, skin tends to look firmer and feel more resilient. As collagen production naturally slows with age, and as existing collagen breaks down a bit faster than your body replaces it, skin can start to look thinner and less firm. This happens to everyone. It's not a personal failing, and it's not something to feel embarrassed about. It's simply part of being a living, aging body. Here's the part one really wants you to hold on to. Your body needs specific building blocks to keep this process going as well as it can. Some of those building blocks come from food. Some come from what you drink. And several of them can be added right into your everyday water routine without turning your life upside down. Let's start with the first one because I think it'll surprise you how simple it is. The first thing worth adding to your water is a natural source of vitamin C, most commonly fresh lemon or lime juice. Here's why this one matters so much. Your body actually requires vitamin C as part of the chemical process it uses to build and stabilize collagen. That means vitamin C isn't just generally healthy in a vague way. It plays a specific, necessary role in collagen formation itself. Without enough of it, your body's ability to build collagen properly is genuinely limited, no matter how much protein you're eating elsewhere. Now, I want to be honest with you about something here because I think a lot of health content oversells this particular tip. A few slices of lemon in a glass of water are pleasant, and they do contain some vitamin C, but the actual amount you get from a few slices is fairly modest. If you want a more meaningful amount of vitamin C, you'll get considerably more from actually eating the fruit itself or from foods like kiwi, strawberries, bell peppers, or a whole orange than you will from a few lemon slices floating in your water glass. So think of lemon water less as a therapeutic dose and more as a pleasant daily habit, one small piece of a bigger picture that includes actual vitamin C-rich foods in your regular meals. Imagine someone in her late 60s who started squeezing half a lemon into her morning water simply because she liked the taste, and later learned there was a reason it might genuinely help beyond just flavor. That's a nice place to start, not because it's dramatic, but because it's realistic and something she could actually keep doing. One small practical note, if you have acid reflux or sensitive teeth, citrus in water can sometimes bother you, so pay attention to how your own body responds, and diluting it further is a perfectly reasonable adjustment. The second thing worth adding is cucumber-infused water, and I want to be very straightforward with you about this one because I think it often gets oversold online. Cucumber water is a genuinely pleasant, low-calorie way to make drinking more water throughout the day feel a little more enjoyable. And cucumbers do contain a range of nutrients, including small amounts of a mineral called silica. Some early research has looked into whether silica may play a supportive role in the health of connective tissue, which is the general category of tissue that includes the structures collagen depends on. Here's the honest part. The research connecting oral silica intake to visible changes in skin is still fairly limited, and it's nowhere near as well established as the research on basic nutrition or vitamin C. I don't want you thinking that cucumber water is some kind of proven anti-wrinkle treatment, because that would be overstating what we actually know. What I can tell you is that it's a low-risk, pleasant way to support your overall hydration habit, and if it happens to provide a small nutritional bonus along the way, that's a reasonable extra, not the main event. Think about someone in his early 70s who started adding cucumber slices to his water pitcher purely because he found plain water a bit boring, and it simply made him more likely to drink enough throughout the day. That on its own, staying properly hydrated, is worth something for your skin separate from anything cucumber specifically contributes. Now, there's an important distinction I want to make here, because this next item is one of the most talked about additions out there, and I want to explain it accurately rather than let the hype speak for itself. The third thing worth adding is hydrolyzed collagen peptides, a powder you can stir into water. Let me explain what's actually happening when you do this, because I think this is where a lot of confusion sits. Collagen peptides are collagen protein that's already been broken down into smaller pieces before you even consume it. When you drink it, your digestive system breaks it down even further, the same way it processes protein from chicken, fish, or beans. Your body does not take the collagen from your glass and simply transport it directly into your skin. That's not how digestion works for any protein. What actually happens is that your body absorbs the individual amino acids and small peptide fragments from that collagen, and it can use those pieces as part of its overall supply of building material alongside everything else you're eating. Collagen happens to be rich in certain amino acids that are somewhat less concentrated in other common protein sources, so supplementing with it may help make sure your body has convenient access to that particular mix. Here's what the research actually shows, as honestly as I can put it. A number of studies have looked at oral collagen supplementation and found possible improvements in things like skin hydration and elasticity after consistent use over several weeks or months in some of the people studied. That's genuinely encouraging, but I want to be fair with you, not every study finds the same result. Product quality varies a great deal between brands. People respond differently based on their own diet, genetics, and skin history, and no study has shown that collagen supplements reliably reduce visible wrinkles for everyone who takes them. So this is a reasonable thing to try with real supporting research behind it, but it is not a guarantee, and anyone selling it to you as one isn't being fully straight with you. A practical approach is choosing a plain, unflavored collagen peptide powder and using it consistently, since sporadic use makes it much harder for your body to make good use of the supply. If you have a known allergy to the source of the collagen, which is usually derived from bovine, marine, or porcine sources, depending on the product, read the label carefully. And if you have kidney disease or another condition that affects how your body handles protein, please talk with your doctor before adding a protein supplement like this to your daily routine, since your needs may genuinely be different from someone without that condition. The ingredient itself is only part of the story, though, because collagen also needs protection from something happening at the same time it's being built. The fourth thing worth adding is unsweetened green tea, and this one works in a genuinely different way than the first three. Green tea contains natural plant compounds called polyphenols, and one of the better studied ones is called EGCG. These compounds have antioxidant properties, and I want to explain exactly what that means in plain language, because the term gets thrown around a lot without much explanation. Every day, your cells experience a kind of ordinary wear and tear caused by unstable molecules that build up naturally over time, a process researchers call oxidative stress. Think of it as the everyday wear and tear your skin cells experience, similar to how a fence left outside gradually weathers from sun and rain. Antioxidants, including the ones found in green tea, may help support your body's own defenses against some of that wear and tear. This doesn't mean green tea rebuilds collagen directly. It means it may help protect the collagen and the cells producing it from some of the ongoing damage working against them. A simple way to include this is brewing a batch of green tea, letting it cool, and keeping it in the refrigerator to drink throughout the day alongside your regular water. Some people enjoy the ritual of making it fresh each morning, which honestly makes it easier to stick with as a habit, since it becomes something you look forward to rather than something you're forcing yourself to remember. One practical note, green tea does contain caffeine, generally less than coffee, but still a meaningful amount. If caffeine affects your sleep or you're simply sensitive to it, drinking your green tea earlier in the day or choosing a decaffeinated version is a completely reasonable adjustment that doesn't cost you the benefit. This is where I want to pause and ask you something because I think it'll help you get more out of the rest of this video. What's your biggest skin concern right now? Is it dryness, fine lines, a general loss of firmness, or something else entirely? You don't need to share anything you're not comfortable with, but if you'd like to, I'd genuinely like to know in the comments because it helps me understand what matters most to the people actually watching these videos. Now let's talk about the fifth item, and I want to be honest with you about something the wellness industry often gets wrong on this exact topic. The fifth thing is electrolytes, and I need to correct a common misunderstanding before we go any further. You may have heard claims that plain water isn't properly absorbed by your body, or that it fails to reach your cells without added minerals. I want to be very clear, that is not accurate. For the vast majority of healthy adults, plain water does an excellent job of hydrating your body and your cells on its own. You do not need to add salt or electrolytes to every glass of water you drink, and I would not recommend doing that as a universal daily habit. Electrolytes, which are minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium that help your body regulate fluid balance and support normal nerve and muscle function, become more relevant in specific situations. Heavy sweating from exercise or hot weather, prolonged physical activity, vomiting, diarrhea, or certain medical conditions can all increase your need for them beyond what a normal day requires. Outside of those situations, most people get what they need through a normal diet and plain water without needing a special product. Here's why I want to be especially careful with this one. Some people have real medical reasons to limit sodium or potassium specifically, including certain heart conditions, kidney disease, and high blood pressure. Recommending that everyone add salt to their water as a general anti-aging habit, which I've genuinely seen suggested online, isn't just unnecessary for most people. It could actually work against the health of someone managing one of those conditions. So I'm not going to tell you to add Himalayan salt to your water as some kind of daily ritual, because that recommendation simply isn't responsible or accurate for a general audience. If you're someone who exercises intensely, sweats heavily, or has a specific situation your doctor has flagged, an electrolyte product may genuinely be useful, and in that case, it's worth checking the label for sodium, potassium, and added sugar content, since some products contain considerably more sugar than necessary. But for most people, most days, plain water really is enough. And I'd rather tell you that honestly than sell you something you don't need. The sixth and final thing connects everything we've talked about, and I've saved it for last because I think it's the piece people overlook the most. The sixth thing worth adding to your routine is a simple protein-containing drink, something like a plain yogurt-based drink, a fruit and protein smoothie, milk, or a fortified alternative if you're dairy sensitive. Let me explain the connection clearly because I don't want to overstate it. Collagen is a protein, and your body needs a steady supply of amino acids from the protein you eat and drink to support collagen production, along with essentially every other repair process happening in your body. That does not mean every gram of protein you consume becomes collagen specifically. Your body uses dietary protein for muscle maintenance, immune function, and countless other processes, collagen production being just one piece of a much larger picture. What this means practically is that if your overall protein intake is a bit low, which becomes more common as people get older due to smaller appetites or changes in eating patterns, your body may simply have less raw material available across the board, including for collagen-related processes. A protein-containing drink can be a simple, gentle way to help fill that gap, particularly on days when eating a full protein-rich meal feels like more effort than you have energy for. I want to be fair here too. You don't need a specialized drink to get enough protein. Whole foods, eggs, fish, poultry, legumes, dairy work perfectly well, and a drink is simply a convenient option for some people, not a requirement for everyone. If you have kidney disease or another condition that affects how your body processes protein, please talk with your doctor or a registered dietitian about what amount and type of protein is right for you specifically, since general advice like this can't account for your individual medical situation. This is something I want you to remember because it's really the thread running through everything we've covered today. Collagen production isn't controlled by one single ingredient, and it never was. It needs vitamin C to help your body build it correctly. It benefits from adequate overall protein to supply the raw materials. It may be supported by antioxidants like those in green tea, which help protect what your body has already built. And underneath every one of those processes, your body simply needs to be properly, consistently hydrated in the first place, which is what makes this whole conversation about water worth having at all. I want to bring this all together now because I don't want you finishing this video thinking any single item on this list is a shortcut. It isn't, and I wouldn't want to mislead you into thinking otherwise. Your skin's appearance is shaped by a combination of things. Your genetics, how much sun exposure you've had over your lifetime, your overall diet, how well you sleep, and simply the natural process of getting older, which none of us can override. No glass of water, however thoughtfully prepared, can undo decades of sun exposure or stop the passage of time. That was never a realistic promise, and I wouldn't want to make it to you. What these 6 additions can reasonably do for some people, depending on their overall health and habits, is help support the building blocks and conditions your body relies on to keep doing what it's still capable of doing. That's a genuinely worthwhile goal, even though it's not a dramatic one, and I'd rather give you something honest and realistic than something exciting and false. Here's the part 1 I really want you to walk away with. You do not need to add all 6 of these to your routine starting tomorrow. In fact, I gently discourage that. At this stage of life, consistency matters far more than perfection, and trying to change everything at once tends to fall apart within a couple of weeks. Pick one, whichever felt the most realistic and appealing to you as I described it, and give that single change genuine time before adding anything else. Small, sustainable habits, layered in one at a time, tend to hold up far better than an ambitious routine you can't actually maintain. If you found this kind of honest, practical information useful, I make videos like this regularly, focused on realistic, responsible ways to support your health and how you feel as you get older, without exaggeration and without pretending there's a secret the skincare industry is hiding from you. If that approach is something you'd like more of, consider subscribing. This channel is built for people who want clear, trustworthy information, not miracle promises. I want to close with something important to me personally. None of what we talked about today is about erasing the natural signs of getting older, and it was never meant to be about that. Wrinkles and changes in your skin's texture aren't flaws that need correcting. They're simply evidence of a life that's actually been lived, and there's real dignity in that, not something to feel ashamed of. The goal was never to chase the skin you had decades ago. The goal is to support the skin you actually have right now so it can stay as healthy, comfortable, and resilient as possible for the body you have today. Your body is still responsive, and that includes your skin. Collagen production doesn't stop simply because you've reached 60 or 70. It slows, and it becomes a little more dependent on you giving it good, consistent support. That's genuinely encouraging because it means small, honest choices made consistently can still matter even now, even after everything your skin has already been through. One last note before you make any changes. If you have kidney concerns, take blood thinners or other regular medications, have known allergies to any of the items I've mentioned, or are managing any chronic health condition, please talk with your doctor before regularly adding supplements like collagen peptides or electrolyte products to your routine. Natural doesn't automatically mean risk-free, and the right approach genuinely depends on your own health picture, which only your doctor can properly assess. So here's my question for you, and I'd honestly like to know the answer. Out of these 6 things, the lemon water, the cucumber water, the collagen peptides, the green tea, understanding when electrolytes actually matter, or adding a bit more protein to your day, which one feels like the easiest place for you to start? Tell me in the comments. I read through them regularly, and hearing what actually resonates with the people watching is one of the most meaningful parts of making this channel. Take care of yourself this week, one small, honest choice at a time. Your skin has been with you through everything so far, and with a little more thoughtful support, it can keep serving you well, not because you're fighting against getting older, but because you're finally giving the body you have right now exactly what it needs,